Hello, I'm with the city and I'm here for a random inspection.
Cool. Can you give me a sec?
Alan, we are so fucked.
You wanted me to pay attention to the fact that Smiling Friends is coming to an end.
Yeah, it's kind of just interesting because, you know, one of the most popular shows right now, season 3 was phenomenal, and season 2 and 3, yeah, it's like the height of their powers, these showrunners, and I like it because it's very much it reminds me a lot of like Newgrounds, like, and a lot of the artists that came from like a Newgrounds background or Flash animation background. One of my first jobs when I was going to Emerson after working in IT was a Flash animator for the Boston Globe. I love Flash, and the show kind of has a lot of good animators, a lot of good collaborators. Like sometimes Harry Partridge like lends a voice or like some animation to it and stuff like that. The Red Letter Media guys, obviously, they did voices a couple times. Mike did a couple voices, and even Rich Evans did voices at some point. Doug Walker has a guest appearance on one of the episodes. That, yeah. And even AVGN has a short little cameo.
Oh, he does a voice or something?
No, it's just like, there was like some images of like hell or something, I think. And they showed James Rolfe's face for like a second. So they're really plugged into that kind of like, you know, Oni plays type of humor in that sphere.
Lyle, wake up! You gotta wake up, please!
Lyle, turn on the TV! They hit the Pentagon! They hit the fucking Pentagon!
I can't get up there.
I like it. I think it's a funny show. Probably one of the funnier shows.
And I've not seen it. I mean, I've seen like a clip here and there. I actually tried to watch like a 10-minute clip on YouTube just to like catch up a little bit for this conversation. And it was like so out of context. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I really didn't know what I was watching. Except I noticed that they did like a lot of mixed media. They had like a horrible CG character in the middle of 2D characters, and this, you know, it's obviously very creative, but I was too dropped into the middle.
Yeah. It reminds me of your Abo the Hugh Monkey Adult Swim parody.
I've got a new wombat.
Pizza.
Chicken seaweed.
In some ways it can feel like that, but I feel like there's a little more going on here, and mostly because maybe I'm plugged into that like Newgrounds internet humor.
Kind of a throwback. Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Remember all those shows like the Space Ghost Coast to Coast and Sea Lab?
Oh yeah, those are some of my favorites. Especially
that was good stuff.
I love Sea Lab.
And then he said that communism was bad, and you were bad too.
You did the right thing, son.
I feel cleansed.
Snitchin' is bitchin'. Phil, engrave that on something.
Yeah, it's in that vein, obviously, Adult Swim, you know.
They're still doing that, huh? They're doing the random thing. In other words, they still have a strong brand around that kind of like, here's going to be some like kind of almost psychedelic animation.
Yeah, for college kids, basically. Yeah, man, they've consistently had like a hit series every few years. Like, a few years Rick and Morty was the hit, which, kind of overstayed its welcome. And so I guess that brings to this, where they're announcing that they're not going to continue the show anymore. I think they're very concerned about overstaying their welcome. Very much so. There was a joke in one of the episodes where one of the characters is watching something that's clearly The Simpsons, and Lisa is in the corner holding like a sign that says like fascist with it's crossed out. Marge has a horrible voice, is like, Blart, you are using that computer tablet device, and stop that. And then Bart goes, Hawk Tua, and it's obviously making fun of current Simpsons.
Blart, what the devil are you doing on that confounded computer tablet device? Hawk to it, man.
After 487 seasons, they've still got it.
So I think that was like, that's on their mind. And I think they were like, you know what? Let's just go out on top. We made like this really great show. We feel very fulfilled. In their announcement, they're like, this isn't like a joke. We have to tell you that this is not like a joke. This is not like an April Fool's thing.
They were pretty earnest in this 6 minutes that I listened to. They were pretty like, this sucks.
I'm going to cut right to the chase. This is not a bit. This is not a joke. Michael and I are here to announce that Smiling Friends will be ending after season 3 is done. Well, I think people's first question might be, why? What's the reason?
Yes, that's it. We should explain why. To be perfectly honest, after we finished season 3, Zach and I just both had the same feeling where we feel pretty burnt out after putting years and years into this, but also pretty accomplished. Like we just came to this feeling where we're like, I think that could just be it.
And I thought it was like handled quite well. In other words, like sometimes these things are handled through strange press releases or through public statements or something like that. And this was just the two guys chatting about it a little bit, trying to address why, being fairly sincere about like, well, we're kind of just not feeling it.
After several years of really, really grinding on this show nonstop without any breaks, we got to a point where we just felt like that's a good spot to end it. We wouldn't want to be doing more seasons with like half-hearted, like with half, or burnt out or not feeling it. And that's not fair to us, and it's not fair to the audience to give you guys fucking slop. That sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
I was watching a Seth MacFarlane interview where he was like, I was a young kid. I was at RISD. At that time they were buying animation. Fox was buying, they wanted another Simpsons. They wanted another hit like that. King of the Hill was a huge hit. So I happened to be there at the right time. But 26 years, that was not part of it. And isn't it interesting when it's like, my dream is to make this show. I would die to make this show. But it's not necessarily the case that you're like, and I want to make it until the day I die. Even if it exceeded your wildest dreams, you still wouldn't necessarily, like, maybe it's 3 seasons that you want to be doing, or 5 seasons, or 10, but not 20. I guess what I'm trying to say is, at what point does your dream expire?
And it's like, they made it, man. Like this show is like, if you, the day after on Twitter or X or whatever, there would be clips from this show. Everyone would be like, oh, this was a great scene. So like, people were talking about it all the time. I don't know. It's amazing just to be like, oh, wow, we did it.
And this is not the end of Zach and I collaborating. It's not the end of us making projects on our own too. It's just, we've done it. Like, we feel like we got it out of our system.
We squirted the whole thing out of our systems. It's all shot out everywhere. So
yes.
I feel like the other two like that in modern times would have been Rick and Morty and maybe BoJack Horseman. 2 shows that I tried, by the way, and did not like. So.
Yeah, Rick and Morty has the disgraced showrunner there. He got Me Too'd or something. And they replaced them with different voice actors, which was actually interesting because they got 2 voice actors to replace him for the 2 characters because he did both of them. I guess one had a better Morty impression, one had a better Rick impression.
Morty! Morty!
Oh, Rick.
Get in the car, Morty! Get in the car!
Oh, Rick, I was asleep. I was having a little Morty sleep.
Morty, get in the damn car now!
No, I just thought it was interesting to be just like, hey, we did it. We don't want to like force it. And there's so many examples of people forcing it that you can't blame them. You can't be, you're just like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the way that like the media market works is it's so hard to get in. I guess that's kind of what I'm trying to say too. It's so hard to get in that you feel like once you're in, you never want, you should never want to get out because it was so hard to get in. Because once people are familiar and there's money to be made off of the thing, then they do want to Bob's Burger you for the rest of time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's a show I've never seen, Bob's Burgers.
People swear by it. I also have never watched it. Look, folks, you get to a certain age, like you can't start a new adult cartoon. You can watch, revivals of old ones like Beavis and Butthead. But you always say like Ted, the show, Smiling Friends, and new Beavis and Butthead are like the 3 things that will always get you to laugh. They're the things that make modern South Park look really bad.
Yeah, well, that's a good example. Let me compare why Smiling Friends worked for me and South Park didn't. There is a character in Smiling Friends that's clearly supposed to be a Trump-like figure. All id, like, just does the thing that, like, the impulse that it wants at that point. But it's a different character, and it's done in a much smarter way. It's its own character. It's just informed by that kind of Donald Trump personality of like, what if we took Donald Trump and we just cranked him up to like 5,000 where he was so pure id, he would like take a baby and eat it, like, right, and people would cheer like, like take it to the so extreme that it doesn't really recognize the thing anymore, but you're still commenting on that. While South Park just put his face on Saddam Hussein.
Did whatever it did.
Yeah, did whatever it did. And it was like, what is this?
We never talked about, remember Trey, I don't think we ever chatted about it, but he, like, because people were like, hey, what's going on with, like, why are you this political? I mean, this South Park is topical and it has been political, but every episode, every moment of every episode. And he was like, well, it's not that his quote was, it's not that we got all political. It's that the pop culture became political. Politics became pop culture. I believe that was the actual phrase. He didn't clarify what he meant by that, but I think that by that he means it used to be the case. Here's my most generous version of my interpretation. If you go back to the 90s, right, it's like on Tuesdays you watch Seinfeld, whatever. On there's a day of the week where you pick up the new album, and on Fridays you see the new movie, and you watch like there's all this kind of common. So pop culture is the thing that unites everybody. It's the thing that everybody is chatting about, and maybe politics was something you kind of avoided. I think maybe he's saying like they kind of swapped, like the thing that's capturing everybody's attention, conversation, their pop interest, the popular interest, the thing that to get easy views on YouTube, start chatting about politics endlessly. Like one-dimensional takes on politics. That's very searchable, and it's very searchable because people are searching it out.
Yeah, but you still did it. You still did it shitty.
Right, exactly. It's like, well, that doesn't mean. Well, okay, I understand now. I understand why it couldn't have been very funny.
I'm gonna sue you. I'm gonna sue both of you.
Like political humor at the time we pointed out, we're like, well, if you were going to make fun of that, like the better way would have been, like, or if you understood it a little bit better. And also if you're like, well, it's not that we became political, it's that it's pop culture, but you don't have to play into that, right? Like you don't have to lean into that if you don't want to. It ought to be like, not to make this whole thing about South Park, but it ought to be like they should make content about stuff that they care about. And it could be the case that that's what they cared about. I hear that Lindsay Ellis did some big, what's that platform? She's on some other platform besides YouTube. Nebula, maybe? Have I got that right? And it's some sort of like PBS affiliate or something, the kind of shit that she would like to get down with. Some kind of paywall for pretentious crap. You can smell your farts right over here.
Yeah, where nobody will watch you.
Yeah, perfect. I'll record a very calm monologue about bullshit.
Can you believe all these imbeciles in Texas? They just put another prisoner to death.
I guess some big essay about how South Park is actually now the greatest that it's been in years.
Oh.
Look, I never got her opinion on South Park. My guess is that she thought it was deeply problematic for a long time. Now she's enamored. Isn't that funny that we just go whatever way our biases lead us? But people wanted me to watch that and review it. I think the only problem is I'd have to pay for it, wouldn't I?
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a paywall. It's a paywall. Remember she disappeared from YouTube.
I just thought she gave up. I don't know, started working at Denny's or something.
Hello, I'm your nostalgia chick. Can I get you some eggs? One of the things they were saying, like, maybe we'll come back, the Smiling Friends guys. They're like, we don't want to say that, though. If we say we're just taking a break, and then it turns out to, we don't want to Mike Mattea and James and Mike Mondays yet, where we're taking a break and never come back.
Adult Swim are very supportive. When we told them exactly this, they said, if you're not feeling making a cartoon, we're not going to stop you. Go have a break, either come back or don't. That's the other thing. We could come back in the future and make more episodes if we want.
I was thinking about Curb Your Enthusiasm when they said that, where it was like, that's a show that he makes it when he wants to make it and he doesn't when he does. I think it's like the only show like that I can think of that's, fiction, where it's not sort of like bought and sold per year first. It's more like, it's almost like it gets canceled every season and then it gets renewed every time it gets renewed.
People speculated that they maybe saw, because HBO and Adult Swim and all that, Warner Brothers is being bought, that they would get out before that all happens. And maybe. That was some speculation. I don't know how true that is.
Because the latest now is that Paramount they ended up buying Warner Brothers out from under Netflix, or they made them an offer they couldn't refuse or something.
Yeah, well they went into like more debt to pay more than what Netflix would pay out of pocket.
I don't know how I'm not like I don't have a full grasp of how these like multi-billion dollar deals work. Like Twitter, I guess, was sort of the same way. I don't know if WWE was the same way, but these kind of like, if the buyer offers enough money, you're not allowed to say no, kind of like you're not allowed to sell to whoever the hell you want if you're like a publicly traded company.
Yeah, because the shareholders have to agree. And if like you take a lower offer, It's not like
you're in
it's not-
violation of your fiduciary responsibilities.
Yeah,
And I think that
something
it could
like
be,
that.
there could actually be regulation around that. Like you have to take the big, I don't know. It's an
I'm
interesting.
not smart enough for this, but it is.
Yeah,
it's,
some
it
smart
is-
guy should make a YouTube video that I can watch.
Yeah, I can watch it. Well, yeah, no, they were talking about Ellison's, and
Right.
is that who's the Skydance, and his father's like friends with some people in Trump and Israel.
David Ellison, the Oracle guy, I believe that they are aligned with Trump. And so I think there is kind of like because they own CBS. And so there's like they'll turn CBS from, a liberal leaning thing into a conservative leaning thing or something. I don't know. I really don't know, truthfully.
I really don't know. Yeah,
Fight about it in the comments.
Yeah, fight about it in the comments. I don't know, but it's amazing that this happened. Like I thought the Netflix one was like a done deal, like slam dunk.
Netflix seemed awfully excited. They were putting out press releases and announcements and emails to all customers. And
I do wonder, like, what would be best for Warner Brothers? Like, I'm just like, let's pretend the geopolitics aren't in it and pretend what would be best for Warner Brothers, like what home would be best. Because I know, like, Paramount probably has more of an incentive to actually have movies in movie theaters, I would assume.
well, we can start with saying not Disney. That'd be
Yeah,
good.
not Disney.
Like Disney, I think like at this point, almost everything that it's bought, it's not been great for that IP or that company. It was for a little while, but not so much now.
Also, like, I like HBO a lot. Like, HBO is one of my favorite things to watch. If there's a show, Night of the Seven Kingdoms being one of them, and House of the Dragon is gonna have another season soon. Smiling Friends was on Adult Swim. So all those properties are very near and dear to my heart. And so I'm like, what company would probably take care of them more? Like especially HBO. HBO has been allowed to kind of operate kind of like in its own way. Like if there's a prestige show, it like does it in its own way. It doesn't have a lot of outside influences. You watch a Netflix show, like every show is just slop. It's like, it has to be made to like a Netflix standard where they're repeating dialogue. It's shot a certain way. Like all Netflix shows.
Yeah, there's a Netflix robot that they go through. Yeah, but I think the same is true of Disney. And because you're right, I think the Warner Brothers properties have been fairly well treated, comparably so. They probably, like, that company had the best shot at bringing cool movies back to the movie theater. So that was always the concern with Netflix, was like, all right, well, this just parks it at home, right? And maybe with Paramount, that's less likely. Maybe like the extra IP will give them a chance.
That would be my instinct, but who knows? It's also not the same Paramount because it was like kind of bought by Skydance too. So I don't even think the effects of that have been fully realized, because they just like canceled I think a bunch of Star Trek shows, or there's no Star Trek shows in production, they said.
When somebody's just going to crush Apple TV, be like, enough of this.
Well, aren't there a couple shows people like on that? I don't know.
Well, of course, there's Pluribus, and there was
Pluribus and Severance. And
F1 was the big movie that was an Apple TV movie. So they got stuff, but not, that's about it. Some high quality stuff but not in huge numbers. It seems like very viable. Maybe they ain't selling. But what if it's like Warner Brothers, where somebody offers so much money they can't say no? And then there's Amazon, which is this kind of like, I guess where their place in the market still is, we'll sell you every movie individually a la carte when nobody else will. Like, or not every movie, but like Amazon's your best bet for like, where do I go to see the movie?
Yeah, I need to rent it somewhere. I can spend $3 here. I guess.
Remember when Amazon was like, Amazon Prime Video was, I don't know if it's still like this. They were almost like more like Tubi, where they were like, we'll just like, did you make an independent film? We'll throw it up on here. It's basically YouTube over here.
Yeah, there's still a few of them like that. But I don't think they show you as much. You have to deliberately look for it.
Do people still like Shudder and those like horror, like the horror ones?
I think
they do. I think the audiences do.
There's people on our Discord that talk about, like, I'm not a horror fan, so these services appeal to me in no way whatsoever. But yeah, I think Shudder, is pretty popular. And
do you have a favorite horror movie as a guy who doesn't like horror?
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite.
That's probably, it's just Shining, right?
I thought maybe we were going to say Exorcist. Like, whatever it is, it was in the 70s or 80s.
Yeah, of course. That's when the good ones were made.
One of my favorites is Slither, the James Gunn movie, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Very funny. But it's a comedy. It's a horror comedy. I'm kind of a horror comedy guy.
Yeah, recent ones, I guess, would be Weapons. That was pretty good.
Oh, true.
Yeah, I don't know if that's pure horror, but it was good.
I heard it won an Oscar or two, right? Maybe.
You know what? I totally didn't watch
see a
the
lick of
Oscar. I didn't even obviously the baby was born, so it's like that's like I didn't see anything.
Like nothing's ever been less important to me in my life than them Oscars. I don't know. For the 8th year in a row, it got to be 9:30, and I was like, oh my god, the Oscars are on, and then I didn't put it on. I watched some fucking cheese dick monologue the next morning. I was like,
yeah, or like some people will be like, oh, such and such won, and I'd be like, I have never heard of that movie in my life. We're getting to the point where, yeah, if it's like all the Oscar movies are basically, what are they?
Remember when it was novel to be like, they nominated a Netflix movie at the Oscars, or they nominated an Apple TV show at the Emmy. That was like a big deal for a little while. When are they gonna? How about a YouTube movie at some point? Show me your balls.
Yeah.
Show me them YouTube. So who's gonna nominate Rerouting?
Yeah, or Boxes and Boiling, or
yeah. Well, I heard actually. You know what? I think I remember back when I used to watch Screen Junkies more 10 years ago or something. Honest Trailers was nominated for an Emmy. Yeah, I think it was.
Right,
so I do think like YouTube series do get nominated.
I know in the beginning of that kind of era, they were like, we should like make our own award show, and they've always failed, and nobody cares.
Yeah, well, they had that joke this year, like by Kid Rock. I do kind of like the idea. I do think it's a little funny that like just take like every major American institution and have an alternative version of it hosted by Kid Rock. Whatever it is. There's the Frayne Family Dinner, and there's the alternative Frayne Family Dinner hosted by Chris Rock.
Yes. It's like, why is Gloria at that one?
Hey, Gloria?
What are you doing?
I don't want you to join the manosphere. He's gonna be a manosphere jerk.
Obviously, the jokes are great, but what I love is the storytelling.
In your adult life, call it age 20 on, where you were engaged with something creative that you originally wanted to be involved with. It could be a Red Cow thing for sure, EJ Cooks or what. Has there ever been something that you're like, I kind of want to step away from this? Like I'm like done, and I like don't want to do it anymore.
I think we naturally just do it because we're not very successful, so that's easy to do. It's easy to just go to the next thing because you're like, oh, this interests me right now. This interests me. Yeah, EJ Cooks interests me more right now than camera reviews because cameras are expensive and the algorithm isn't doing this. So yeah, you move around a lot, and I feel like I do, but that's because your interests change, the things you're passionate about change. Yeah, if like what if like EJ Cooks became so popular I couldn't ignore making more of them? It's like
it'd be annoying. Yeah,
that'd be annoying. It would be annoying. I like being not very popular.
Like I owe nothing to nobody.
I owe nothing to nobody. It's great, and I have something else that feeds me. I guess that's. I
mean, there have definitely been times where I'm like, we should really do a new one because people have been waiting. But I mean, I think part of what's been nice is we've made so many different series that over time, people are like, you got like one guy who wants a Peter Smith and one guy who wants a Box Mac and one guy who wants a podcast. And in a way, it's a problem because now you just feel like you're constantly not delivering to your very segmented audience. But, over time, it's like hopefully the core fans sort of appreciate everything or a little bit of everything. So you can kind of like, you can dabble, you're allowed to dabble. And that's what keeps it interesting. And then also the fact that we're talking about like fiction, nonfiction stuff here. We're talking about podcasting and fun web series. And so it's just kind of like a way to keep in touch with people who care about what we're up to. Maybe like social media stuff, perhaps. I'm not the, people like famously people will be like, I'm leaving Facebook for good. I don't think I've done that, but there's definitely been platforms I never really used in the first place, like TikTok. Instagram took me a really long time. I still don't use Instagram, but I'll scroll it. I got a real good algorithm for Instagram. It's real good.
Okay, yeah.
Everything that they serve me is fucking funny. It's like, this is great. Like, how did this happen? Like Reddit is like, I would like to walk away from Reddit. Maybe it's time. Like
I don't even go on Reddit at all.
Is that right?
Unless like it's like a specific question, like you'll search Reddit, like how do you fix this? Reddit has some pretty good answers sometimes, but I don't go to like the front page or whatever. You made your own front page or whatever. Like I don't look at that stuff. It's just it was too annoying. Yeah, and Facebook is mostly I just use it for Marketplace, and the rest is like boomer AI slop or something.
It's real bad. It's all smut.
Yeah, and they didn't they shut down the metaverse, right? They shut down the metaverse. There was this news story that
I don't even know what that means. Second Life, basically.
Yeah, the Second Life. Remember when the uncanny doll, like Zuckerberg, like, hello, we're gonna be living in this world and smoking meats and all that. But
remember when he and that girl were really talking with their hands a lot?
Yeah,
it's my favorite. It's a great clip.
They must have been coached to do that.
Yeah,
it's great.
Because not enough money in the world can make you presentable. I love when money doesn't buy something. I love it. I love when you see Jeff Bezos walking around with this like disgusting plastic trash woman, and I'm like, that really? He's like, ain't she hot?
Yeah, I saw some tweet. It was like, so Metaverse is closing down, but you just changed your company's name to Meta. It's like, it's great. It must be in a good spot.
Well, I do see like the Meta goggles and stuff, like at Best Buy or whatever. When I'll wander into a Best Buy when Nina's at Stop and Shop. Like Gloria will be like, let's go into Best Buy. And then I find myself looking, I'm like, what is in a Best Buy now? There's mostly laundry machines. There's 100-inch televisions that cost like $70. It's like, what the hell's going on?
I don't know. Yeah. I was walking into Costco to pick out a freezer. I've been freezing a lot of meals for the baby. So yeah, and I walked in with my father-in-law and he's like, TVs are like this big and they cost like, $700. Like it's like the size of your wall. It's like, how does this work? What are we doing?
It definitely makes me, because some people are real into projectors. I guess for outdoors, right? That makes sense for outdoors. But anything indoor, I'm like, that's not. There's a better way.
There's a better way. Yeah, no, the TVs are pretty cheap. You can get a pretty good one, pretty big one for pretty cheap nowadays. I don't understand it. Don't understand what kind of evil bargain we did.
But I see the Meta goggles there, though. And I don't know what that is. It's an Oculus competitor.
They might have bought Oculus. Wait, who bought Oculus? That was Microsoft, right?
Oh, okay. I feel like this whole podcast, I've been like repeatedly just outing myself as not knowing what the fuck is going on in the world around me.
Boomercast.
Which, like, I've been chatting with Jimmy like a lot. Jimmy like wants to have a friend, and like I'm a friend. I'll be a friend to Jimmy. In fact, he was like, I started facetiously saying you should rebrand your whole channel to just Jimmy. And instead of like kicked from server or whatever he was, and he's like, okay, I'll do it. And then he's like, but will you make my banner and my profile picture and my AI intro? And I was like, okay. So if you go to his channel right now, that's mostly 95% of that artwork is Frankie Frayne.
We want to have sex before I go to sleep. Now I get 3 hours of sleep.
He also lured me into there's like a couple of pickups in his movie where there's like a shot of a phone and it doesn't look very good, and he's like, could AI like through like animating a still image? And I got some pretty good looking stuff like for him. I bring him up because if I'm retarded, he's really retarded. he's like, we've had many a late night conversation where he's like, the Google Drive won't sync.
So I already have enough conversations with my father.
I'm like, oh no, I'm doing IT support in the middle of the night for Jimmy. But he's like, like the Google Drive, it says it syncs, but then when I play it back in Premiere, it drops frames. There's a great clip of like Shawn Michaels like henpecking a keyboard. He's basically you're Jimmy, you're Shawn Michaels messing with the keyboard. People seem to like that interview, by the way. It seemed to go quite well for everybody.
What, the Shawn Michaels interview?
I think I'm cute. I know I'm sexy.
I think I'm cute. I know I'm sexy.
No, the Jimmy one. Where we talked to him for an hour and 44 minutes.
Yes. Yeah, that's great.
It seemed to go well. There's only the occasional person that was like, you mustn't platform Jimmy.
Or the one person who like accused us of like doing it for clicks. It's like, this guy nobody knows.
I know. Yeah, it was like these bottom feeding grifters, and I was like, yeah, because nothing says grifter like, hey, let me bring on a guest who's actually like I'm a low viewed channel and he's a lesser viewed channel. That's number one. We don't run ads ever. Like we don't read ads. We never bring up like merch. I'm like, look, if we're your grifter, you're going to need better grifters.
There's lots to choose from.
I think there's other people that are asking for money just a little bit more than almost never.
I've got some looks.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.